Hello friends, Nayaswami Hriman here, and once again it's time to ask a yogi. All right, I have a question that came in very recently from a woman who lost her husband at age 49. He passed away in a peaceful manner, but they were having difficulties in their marriage in the last few years. I won't go into the details, it's not necessary, but she was feeling guilty. Her love for her husband is still there, and she said some very nice things about him, but she was perplexed because she was afraid of the consequences to herself from fighting and maybe critiquing him and so forth. Where I'd like to pick this up is not so much from the facts and circumstances of this person's questions, but from the standpoint of one's own regrets. And perhaps especially for those of us who are of a certain age in which our parents are now gone, or others are leaving, the regrets I'm thinking about are those that can no longer be acted upon. The person has died. The person has moved far away. The person has no wish to have any contact with you. And so what do we do about what amounts to unreconciled, unredeemed disharmony? Okay, and of course we all make mistakes, and I suppose we could extend this to the simple fact that what do we do about all the dumb things we've done, or even awful things that we may have done at some point and really can't do anything about, typically? Well, those of us who are disciples of Yogananda often hear the quote that he gave from his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, along the lines of something like, "The past life of all souls are dark with shame. Forget the past. What you do now, today, will improve your spiritual consciousness, your spiritual karma," however you want to put that. And in another way, I read Yogananda saying something sort of strange. He said God, in making the world, got no karma. God, in creating this duality of life and death and pain and sorrow and all that, has no karma. What that means to me for this purpose today is that our soul, which is eternal, changeless, perfect, made in the image of the Great Spirit, is untouched by karma. Isn't that wonderful? And so God doesn't actually mind our karma. Okay, there are consequences. I mean, if you murder somebody, you might get thrown in prison, or from the standpoint of the law of karma, you might have to be murdered. But you can't do anything about those consequences. But you can detach yourself from constantly thinking about the past, or worrying about the past, or worrying about those consequences. If you affirm your soul's perfection right here and now, that very affirmation, affirmed with virtuous actions and practicing the presence and mindfulness of the spirit of that perfection within you and so on, then whatever comes, you'll be able to handle. Whatever comes, you'll be able to accept if there's nothing you can do positively to ward it off. And so by affirming that perfection, affirming that inner freedom from those consequences, we already are somewhat free, don't you see? So in this particular case, I asked the person who wrote in, and you can ask yourself with respect to any such deeds that you've committed, what can I learn from that? Right? I mean, this is a school. This world we live in can never be perfect. It requires imperfection to even exist, even to be noted. What to mention, attract us to stay. And so ask yourself, what have I learned from my own mistakes? And sometimes, what can I learn from the mistakes of other people? You see, this is a school and we are tested. Sometimes we fail the test and we have to retake the test. So let's retake the test. Let's learn what we can and improve ourselves with grace, with attunement to that perfection that lies, as Jesus said, within us. Forget the past. Affirm the present and eternal reality of your soul's own bliss. God is as much part of you, with you, now as you will be when you achieve perfection. All right.